Okay. Yeah. I'm always pushing back my hair at the beginning of these things. I don't look in the mirror. I don't have to look at myself. That's the one good thing about this. That I don't necessarily have to look at myself. I just got back from the hospital. I've been out of it for days. I'm still pretty much out of it. Excuse me. I do not have COVID-19. I had SARS. I'm looking at my little thing from Queen of the Valley, little discharge paper. I had SARS, which apparently I didn't get the memo that it was a rage of the 90s, and I didn't get on board apparently, so I got that memo. Um, and then apparently, because I've always run about 95 degrees, 96 degrees temperature wise, and apparently that's not right. So they they put this down, okay, as an explanation. Attached copies instructions may or not apply exactly to your care. Please follow the discharge plans we discussed. The dude's name, viral syndrome, home care. If your temperature spikes between 99 and 101 degrees, please seek immediate medical care. Um, as patient states, his normal, it's hard to read right now, but basically, my normal body temperature is about 95. And I claim it's because the lizard people that you hear on like the alien encounters where they're trying to interbreed and everything. Well, I'm part of that because I'm very susceptible. If it's cold, I'm cold. If it's hot, I'm hot. Literally, I generally run about 95 in the winter. In the summer, maybe around 97. But my body temperature is low. And as a result, I did cold weather training in the Army very well. Had a great time with it. Um, and but basically it says, um, your appetite may, no, unless other medicine was prescribed for this. If you have a belief that does not um, talk with your healthcare provider before using medicines, no one younger than 18 should take, with a fever, take aspirin, as it might cause disease or death, as per um, a patient advice of being a lizard person. Your appetite may be poor, so a light diet is fine. Avoid dehydration. Blah blah blah. Yeah. Um, yeah. Fever of, yeah, basically over 32 degrees centigrade, or 67 and 80. I don't know, whatever. I can't read right now, but I thought that was very funny because, like I said, I went over there and I they tested me, and it's not that bad. I went over there and I went there at 9 o'clock tonight because I know I'd had SARS. I knew I had that because I'd had that like since Saturday, and I'd been sleeping, um, like heavy duty, just big time. But I'd apparently been eating a lot too because I had Dickie's barbecue. Um, I- I'd get up and just start eating, not really knowing if, and apparently I'd just been DoorDash every 4 or 5 hours, get a quarter rack of ribs. And then I finally went to a full rack of ribs, and they have 5 different types of French fries. And I got all 5 different types, 2 servings of the large each. And tonight, I went through a, uh, a, a Wendy's double, a single, 2 large fries, a frosty. I'm still working on one of the fries. I've got, and I am losing weight because it's coming out both ends. So and tonight it was like I couldn't breathe at all. I just started coughing and just couldn't breathe. So I went over there and they put me on a nebulizer and cool, I can breathe. And they took the blood and everything else. Extremely impressed. Now, when I go to an emergency room, I expect at least 2 hours before I even get talked to. And then, like another couple hours, 3, 4 hours. I always expect if I go to ER, 8 hours. I'm going to dedicate that much time to before I even get past the ER to do anything. Okay, I get into the ER, get diagnosed, and then get recommended for something within 8 hours. Well, I got there at 9 o'clock tonight. By 9:15, I was on a nebulizer while they took my information, while they took my blood, while they took chest X-rays, while they had a doctor come in and look at me and check everything and go, "This is really wrong." And I explained to them in between puffs what was happening. By 10 o'clock, I had a prescription for what the doctor felt I needed, a diagnosis for what I had because I'd already gone there previously to be. And that nose thing, man, that's brutal. It's not bad. It's not bad at all, really. They just take this thing and stick it up your nose, and it goes into your nose, into your sinuses, and down your throat. It's like, dude, that's wild. And he pulls it out, and like, whoa. And of course, my nose. Anybody that knows me, point blood. Um, I think I've explained my ill-fated boxing career with Fair and Justice, a very nice, cool dude. His name was actually Fair and Justice. Fair and Justice. If this ever gets out to him, please, I'd love to hear his side of it. But I think I beat his butt, and he won because of the fact that I got a bloody nose and they called it. 'Cause I remember the next day being perfectly fine and him being all bruised and sore. I was like, cool. But he won fair and square because they called it on blood. And I was bleeding. Let me tell you something. And then this happened at the hospital. And just whoosh. Now they're like, "Oh, you have a bleeding disorder?" I said, "No, it bleeds." They happen to do the left side and a little blood there still. Anyway, yeah. But if blood squirts out on the screen, I wouldn't be too terribly concerned unless it's not coming from my head. Anywhere else, be concerned. If it's coming from like here, don't worry. That's just blood. I bleed out of there all the time. So I go to the doctors and they're like, "Okay, first of all, your temperature is totally wrong." I was like, "That's cool." Because my temperature went from when I went in, the initial time they took my temperature was 96. Then the next time they took it, it was 98. And then they took it, it was 100. And then next time they took it, it was 99. And when they took it, it was 100. I was like freaking out because for me, that'd be like 103 for everybody else. That's 5 degrees. That's a huge swing. And I was really concerned. So that, they took all blood and everything, all the precautions. One of the things I did notice was they only took personal precautions as much as they felt that was necessary. The people that they felt were really contagious, they had in isolation rooms. Person like myself, just a bed, hanging out. Um, After I was there an hour, they had me treated and everything. And they said, we have a room for you here. And they actually put me in the room and said, because you have pneumonia. And I was like, well, what type? And they said, don't, this isn't for sure because you got to give us a day or two. But initial results are very interesting. I was like, interesting? How? And they said that I had Klebsiella, Klebsiella, Klebsilia, or L's A I, Klebsiella pneumonia. And basically, it's pertaining to a region in India, near New Delhi. Clepsylia is an area, the region of Clepsylia, that this particular pneumonia is attributed to because of the environmental factors involved. And apparently, somebody, because it's virulent for 6 months, so somebody within the last 6 months went to New Delhi, maybe to Capsilia itself. I'm an expert on the place now. This is the coolest thing, but it's just like nowhere, and it's nothing except it's got these unique climate and everything else. So when you get all this stuff together, oh, you get a form of pneumonia is brutal. I mean, it's got the whole India thing going on with not bowel and coming up and going down every. I like I said, I have been eating so much, but I have been losing weight because I eat in the bathroom, and yeah, it almost seems like I should just do that. Actually, I try not to. Um, could have something in my mouth when I'm going, oh, or so it's all good. It sucks, but I think it's really the coolest thing ever. Um, because I don't get anything normal. I'm very pleased with all the prognosis I've got. Even like Klebsiella, it's dangerous. It kill you, but won't kill you anything more than dysentery will. Basically, it's a form of the flu that's dysentery like, which I don't know. I run a pretty clean operation here. A lot of wax for varied reasons. Um, I do make scented candles now. I'm doing a little sculpture. I don't know where it's over there. I'm going to make a candle holder. I'm still just it's air dry clay, so you got about 3 days to play with it, depending on how wet you keep it. And I'm keeping it kind of moist along here and there. You can probably see the white that's on my fingertips, and then the red, and then some green, some blues, whatever. Yeah. At least this way we can talk, and maybe you catch a computer virus. That's about all I can send you right now. Um, so that's my story for right now. All those wonderful things I said I was going to do, I'm still going to do once I wake up. Um, don't know which day that will be. I woke up today because I had to couldn't breathe. So I got a nice inhaler and a nebulizer, and I go tomorrow, and I'll drive down to Martinez and get the VA version, and take the one back to the the Queen. They're basically little, I don't know, little containers. Um, it has an oxygen tank. It's also got a nebulizer tank. I don't know what it is. It's whatever. And every couple hours or so, I put on the thing and breathe, and then I can breathe, and then I take it off, and I fall asleep until I can't breathe, and I can't sleep with it on because I can't. It's on there. It bugs me. So I fall asleep with it near me, and I can just lean over and hit the button. And I I always for some reason I keep uh, well, there are two bags there. Maybe that's why it looks like it. I don't know. But I totally had hallucinations. I was like, totally sparking back to the 80s. The first time I ever dropped acid. Um, in the 80s, I either made sure somebody was there or I would handcuff myself to furniture so that because I would definitely be one of those people just to fly off the handle and go, but very quietly. And I had so much fun the other day. I because I felt I was hallucinating, so I sat on the floor and took my handcuffs and cuffed myself to the. Where are my cuffs? Oh, I think they're down there. I don't know. Somewhere, somewhere else. You can see where it cut into there. Right there. My cuffs are really nice, fur lined, very comfortable. Um, Next time the cops come for me, I'll just cuff myself up first and let them. Maybe you'll use that anyway. And what I do is I've always just, um, yeah. So I don't even know what I'm talking about. Hallucinating. So yeah, I totally thought I was like back in the army, and then I was going through what's called SEER schools: search, escape, evade, and rescue, reconnoiter. I can't remember all the acronyms for all the freaking schools. But anyway, one was a SEER school, and it was a POW sort of thing, and you could choose to go through torture, to a certain level until you said, yeah, that's enough. But I chose just to see, some of the tortures, like under the fingernail with a little bamboo. Oh my gosh, that hurts. That hurt, but it only hurts when it's being done. Afterwards, I can turn that off. And I've learned over the years, with all the pain I've been through, that you can go through a whole hell of a lot of pain. And so I was hallucinating that I was in this school trying to escape, and I was tied by twine because it was so soft. Now, I intentionally make sure there's no knives or anything with it. I don't have guns. I don't like guns. I think it's unfair. The closest thing I'll have is a wrist rocket, use a pellet. But no, I have knives. I like up close. I like it up close and personal, messy. That's the way I like it. But so I took all the knives and put them outside. Um, so I knew what I was doing, but I felt, here it comes. I'm going to be starting to trip here. So I locked myself down and I tripped. I had a great time. When I came to, the couch was in the middle, and my couch is a futon that is made of solid. This ain't moving. Sort of 700 pounds, and 700, but several 100 pounds worth of just heavy duty. I got bruise on my wrist all the way around here. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know, but it's like right here, right over top here. But I had a great time, and that's one thing about being sick. It sucks. It really does. But if you're gonna be sick anyway, you may as well enjoy it as much as you freaking possibly can. So, I mean, even though I can't breathe, and they said, you may want to hold off on your marijuana consumption. I have a nebulizer now. I can breathe just fine. Oh, wax. Oops. Okay, yeah, okay. Got everything good. Yeah, I still. All right. Now I'm going to change my posting name because I found this in the hospital. Uh, it was pointing to a phone, those little clip things that you put the phone clips in to, hook up a phone. And it was pointing to that. And I had decided that as opposed to Napa, California, dude. I'm gonna be the interpreting phone jack guy. So it said interpreting phone jack, and it pointed to one. This one you can SV version. And you plug it in there, and you get a translation line coming to the hospital. This is from the '80s, I'm sure, if not before. And it said interpreting phone jack, and it was so old and worn that you could barely see it, but it was there, and I just tripped out over it. So interpreting phone jack guy. No, dude, I think I'm gonna go with dude. I'm interpreting phone jack, dude. Dude who doth interpret phone jacks. No, 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 no. Interpreting phone jack, dude. I'm gonna go with that. I think I like that. Interpreting phone jack. I think I'm just gonna go with that. No, dude. Just interpreting phone jack. I like it. I'm going with that. So I'm posting this as interpreting phone jack. Uh, you may know me as Tom Brown, Prince of Darkness. Other names come to mind. Son of a bitch, bastard. Um, they're all good. They all fit. Idiot. All works for me. But now you can call me interpreting phone jack. Excellent.